Hi Libra, this is your reading for the week of October 13th. And happy birthday season to all of you people out there. Now, beyond Libra Sun, this also might be Moon, Rising, or just lots of Libra in your chart. Won't be for everybody, of course, and it might be for another time. It might resonate differently for different times. So, Libra, as I was getting ready to do this reading, Libra came to mind immediately. And then it was the Cowardly Lion. And I'm going, why the Cowardly Lion? Because Libras, in spite of being quite nervous, can actually be quite bold in many ways. And so, why? If only I had a heart. If I only had a heart. And that is something that I feel a lot of Libras think about themselves, is that they feel in many ways compromised in love. Either they're unable to get the love that they want, or they don't feel easily connected to other people in a way where they feel like there's an emotional intimacy going on. And that is something that I have seen with a lot of Libra people. Now, the other thing that I found really interesting, and I think relates directly to this, is a quote from the book: "You people with hearts have something to guide you and need never do wrong. But I have no heart, and so I must be very careful." Now, I guess in this case, what I would look at is, what does it mean, you people with hearts? To me, what that says is, you people out there, you know how to behave because you feel it. You can get a sense of it. So you're never going to mess up. You're not going to make a fool of yourself. You're not going to be offensive. You're not going to say the wrong thing. But I don't have a heart. I don't feel those things. I'm kind of disconnected from myself in a way where I don't always know what's acceptable or appropriate, right? And this is something that I have, again, seen with quite a few Librans, is that as much as they want to be socially accommodating, and as much as they want to be the ones providing a nice home, a lovely place, a good environment, whether it's at home, whether it's work, they want to have the place clean, they want it tidy, they want all of these things that they associate with comfort and with respect and offering to people. But within that context, sometimes they are so nervous about presenting it that their nervousness precludes them really being able to feel whether or not it's right beyond just what they think, and if it's actually satisfying to the people that they're offering it to. And if the people don't really acknowledge the effort and the beauty of it, then they can be left feeling as though they're either not being seen, or they've done it wrong, or they're not respected, or there's something wrong with them. Or in a flip, sometimes it will be, well, what's wrong with them, because they don't get it, right? So Libra, this reading for me is really talking about the fact that you're moving away from that old belief or that old attitude that everything has to be done perfectly, that you have to always be able to accommodate those people that are in your life or in your circle, that you need to be really careful about everything that you say and do, or it might come out wrong. What I'm feeling now is that and that at the base of that is fear, right? There's the fear of doing something wrong. What is perfectionism about? It is about the fear of what being imperfect is going to bring, whether it's criticism, failure, shaming, whatever it is. So what I find wonderful about this is, of course, the Cowardly Lion was never cowardly. He was completely and totally brave. He kind of saved the day. And so when you look at this in terms of the Cowardly Lion, it was only his attitude towards himself that allowed him to continue to act as though he was cowardly. But it took something to challenge him in order to realize that he wasn't cowardly, that he was always brave. Courage was not something to be given to him. Courage was something that was grown out of who he was and circumstance. Now, this is what I'm getting from Spirit. So what I'd like to say about this in terms of the cards that Spirit offered in this is that it's really about you now, because you've also got the mind card, right? The mind card. The mind is not only the tool with which we interpret the world around us, the mind is a great cosmic cookie cutter, which manifests our world according to its shape and the ingredients we put into it. You've got here also the isolation card, and that goes perfectly well with what the Cowardly Lion's talking about, that sense of not being connected to his heart, or that sense of not having a heart. For you, it's that sense of not being connected to it in a way where you are full of feeling, okay? Isolation, it's not about really being disconnected from the outside world. Ultimately, it's about not feeling connected to yourself, to your heart, to your ability to feel on every level. And so what this is talking about within the context of everything, it's really talking about the fact that when you connect to yourself deeply, when you connect with your ability to feel, which is already there, it's not something that's going to be given to you, and it's not something that is missing. It's already a part of you. When you connect with that, you automatically know and are able to read the room and the people and know what's socially appropriate. Okay? You don't overtalk, you don't undertalk, you're not all listening, you're not all talking. You're able to be an organic part of whatever relationship or relationships or social context you're in. And so how do you do that? How do you stay more in touch with your heart? How do you listen more in a way where you can feel? Well, what they're saying is start with understanding that if this is something that is an issue for you, if you are one of the Librans that I'm reading for whom this is an issue, be aware that mind card, your mind is the great cosmic cookie cutter, which manifests your world according to its shape and the ingredients you put into it. So if you find yourself in a state of nervousness, anxiety, which does not allow you to really be in touch with your feelings, then what they're saying is start experimenting. Start experimenting with being neutral. Start experiencing with that, the neutral idea of, don't let things land on you. Let them, like a Tai Chi move, let it slide by you. Don't let it land on you. Start learning to observe with no intention of saying the right thing after. This is about listening for the sake of listening. This is about active listening. And there's a lot of information that you can get on what active listening is about. And you can check that out. You can Google that and get wonderful suggestions about it and what that actually means to be an active listener. Once you start moving into listening for the sake of listening, not listening for the sake of responding, not listening for the sake of rebuttal or for looking where you're challenged even, that's another one, is you can lighten up a little bit. And once you start learning how to do that, then you can start experimenting with how you're going to approach a situation socially. Now, how do you do that? Well, the next cards are telling you that. Check in with why you're saying something. What's the point of it? Is it really something that you believe? Is it really something that's important? Or is it just part of social pattern? Is it a part of certain expected comments? Or is it something that you are used to talking about? Sometimes what we'll do is we'll choose subjects or situations that we feel intelligent about, or that we feel we have enough experience in so that we can actually offer information. And so if you're doing that, then what happens is you're not staying in touch with what might actually be relevant to the situation. You might want to be talking about gardening, and your delight of flowers when somebody is talking about an issue that's very emotionally charged for them. And if you were to be able to listen, you would be able to respond with a different emotional response that is going to affect what you say, how you say it, where you would carry the conversation. And you know what? It might still end up being about flowers if that's your big thing, but it wouldn't be shutting down what they're saying in order to talk about flowers. It wouldn't minimize what they're talking about in order to bring your subject in. So the other thing that you are being asked to look at here is, and this is something that came up as I was shuffling the cards, shuffling the cards. And what was the context again? Yes, okay. And it goes back to the bravery. True courage is in facing danger when you're afraid. Okay? And so for me, this is really important for you, because the tendency that you can have, because your mind can be so like really energetic and move very quickly and be quite analytical, like really intelligently analytical. You can get caught up in the kind of words, when you get into a negative loop, you can justify being negative. You can think of all the reasons why and itemize it and categorize it, why you are this way, why you're not a success, why at any particular thing, why you're nervous. You can, come up with a list of all the times that you have been as proof that you are all of these or any of these negative things that you think about yourself. Libra, it's time to stop, because your mind is a great cosmic cookie cutter. First of all, it's a matter of choosing to be brave. You don't, okay, now this was it, okay? You become brave by going through the actions that are fear-inducing for you. Thank you. The thing is, you do them at the time, you do them at the pace that you're able to. That's where the neutrality comes in as well. But you start by, what are you putting into your cookie cutter? Well, your words, the words that you use and the thoughts that you use are so important. So important. But Libra, you are powerful. You are so powerful. My goodness. With the quality of energy your brain generates, when you decide that you are going to act courageously in order to change how you are feeling about yourself and changing your anxiety responses, excuse me, some cards fell out. I'm not sure if they're relevant, so I'll leave them there. You can change things, and you can do it in a way where you are doing it gradually, where you are doing it a little bit at a time, where you can experiment with, for example, okay, first of all, slow it down. Okay, first of all, please watch the words that you use about yourself. No more negative self-talk, because if you're choosing now that you are going to work through this anxiety that you've got and really develop a sense of confidence in your ability to feel and your ability to understand, be more relaxed, just challenging your natural tendency towards anxiety, what you can do is really watch your language, make the decision you're going to do it, and watch the language that supports it. Talk as though you have faith in your process, okay? Talk as though you are changing this because you decide to change it, because you have the ability to change it, because your mind is what creates the change, okay? Then when you catch yourself, you catch your mind in when it wants to start talking badly about you. It's like, why are you saying that? Do you need to say that? Can you say something else instead? Slow it down. Don't assume that just because you think it or because you want to say it, that it's the truth. And a lot of the times when you question why are you saying it, it's not necessarily even what you are feeling in that moment. And it may be the first thing you feel, but what's beyond that? Okay, what's the next thought beyond that? Is there more? Is that all? Okay, you can look at your thought. It's a negative thought. All right. Okay, I hear myself saying a negative thought. Is there more? Is there something positive? Do I really feel that? Question the thought. Question what your mind is doing. That's one of the ways to start getting out of the negative loop. Question the negative loop. Now, the other thing that they're saying is, you can experiment. Okay, here we go. You can experiment with, if you know that there are certain situations that you're really uncomfortable with, and you choose to go into them as a part of growing your courage or growing your confidence to develop your belief that you have courage. Experiment. Prepare. If you know that making phone calls always turns you into a babbling idiot, sorry, not that you're ever an idiot, but if you feel like you're babbling and sounding really silly, make out a list of possible lines that you will use to get things on track that sound like you in a comfortable way that you would say when you were feeling as though you were expecting the best results from that phone call. Say it's to a phone company and you're questioning a bill or you're changing your status, whatever. If you know that going to a party, for example, is particularly uncomfortable for you because you really don't know these people, it's a new social situation and you're not sure what's appropriate, you're afraid of being tongue-tied and not knowing how to speak to people or approach people, start exploring some introductory lines that might work with you. Think about how you might bring in subjects that are of interest to you. Think about questions that you can ask. If you are feeling nervous about sharing information because you don't want to be vulnerable or you don't want to feel as though you're making it all about you, then start thinking about ways that you can actually introduce something of interest. Think about a line that might be easy to open the subject up in a way where it invites everybody's ideas about a particular situation. Boy, have any of you gotten caught up in lineups in the airport that were so long you didn't think you were going to get your plane? Okay, that's a silly example, but it can be just something like that where you are engaging people in rapport so that you're not the difference. You can see the difference between that and, boy, the other day I was caught up, the subject is completely different and all of a sudden you're saying, boy, the other day I was caught up in a line. That can be okay, when you're one-on-one, or maybe not something quite that specific, but the idea of, if you're not sure about how to introduce a subject that you would like to talk about, and you feel as though nobody's asking you about yourself in a way where it's easy, you can bring it out by way of encouraging people to also share their stories on it, where you get to do yours, or you open it up and you bring yours in and you see whether or not or how other, basically what they're thank you, what they're saying is pick a common theme, a common thread that is familiar to many people, that is also a part of your experience that you can bring to light. Thank you. That was so much better than how I was putting it. Okay, now what else? There was something specific that they were saying earlier. The idea of experimenting. Also, they would like you to have more fun, Libra. They would like you to see play as something that is actually can really allow you to get out of worry. So if you're going into any situation that in which you feel insecure about participating, realize that you have the ability to respond. You have the ability, and that's where choice comes in. You get to choose. And listen, Libra, if you go to a party or an event and you don't feel as though you have anything you want to offer, then that's okay too. Just, oh, now you've got humor. Just please, 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 Libra, allow that to be okay. That's true for a lot of people. It doesn't have to be a sign of some kind of pathology or some kind of weakness on your part. You can just decide to, in that moment, be neutral and be an observer. That's all. Now, humor, again, they're talking about play. You got play, humor, experimentation. Humor in its highest form is kindly and not sarcastic. Because it's gentle, it helps us see the truth behind things that might otherwise create defensiveness. Laugh. You can laugh. You can laugh at any quality that you've got, because no quality that you've got is unchangeable. And the more you can create lightness about, thank you so much. That's exactly what I thought. The more that you put lightness around it, Libra, the more it just ceases to be this focused, thing on the end of your nose that you get to criticize about yourself. You are great at criticizing yourself. You're really great about it. You're really great about seeing what you've done as not enough or a failure or why them, not me. And Libra, you've got so much going for you. That's the irony of it, is that most of you, certainly the Libras that I have known, have got so much going for you. So much in terms of your personality and in terms of your heart. It's only your perception of it that has sometimes created this sense of feeling as though you're frozen out. But the very fact that you're concerned about it, do you get that? The very fact that you're concerned about it means that you're feeling. Now, as I was starting to do this reading, I was thinking to myself, I wonder what the title of it's going to be, because it could go in many different ways. But what I was hearing was something to the effect of the courage of the angels. Now, the last card that I pulled to finish this spread off is angels everywhere. Today, imagine that everyone you meet, now this is an actual exercise from the awareness activity deck. And this is something that doing this day to day, any phone call you meet, before you leave the house, listen to this card. And I'm going to put it up here so you can take a screenshot or write it down and use this as an actual exercise to help you overcome some of these things we've been talking about. Today, imagine that everyone you meet is an angel sent to you by some benevolent force for your own best good. Remember, everyone is an angel, no matter what they look or act like, say, do, or don't do. How does this affect how you behave towards them? How does it shift the dynamic and what you notice about your prejudices and your prejudgments? That goes about not only them, but you. That is the place where you have the most prejudgments and prejudices, and that's against yourself. So this, my very dear Libras, is for you, and this is you coming out of the illusion that you don't have courage, the illusion that you're not enough, the illusion that you can't feel. Because the cowardly lion always did and always was brave. He just didn't know it until he took the steps towards it. And it doesn't mean you're not anxious or nervous when you take the new steps. That is something that Spirit has been very clear on as I do this reading, is do it according to your own pace. But do it knowing that what you are is already brave because you're facing it, and that what you are doing by doing this is you are building your confidence. And as you build your confidence, you are building your psychological, your energetic, and your spiritual resources. Okay? You have the power of the angels with you. You have the power of the angels with you. I leave you with that, my very dear Libras. New stories. It's a time for new stories. And this is you learning that you are already brave. Take care.